we've got prints, and we've got awesome shirts. So stop on by the Underdog store, because we also have 2 amazing new shirt designs, the Combo Queen and First Impact. It is the holiday season, so make sure to get yourself something nice. Every purchase supports the channel and you look awesome while doing it. How's it going, everyone? My name is True Underdog, and Joker has become even more popular at tournaments lately. Before, it was mainly Sonic Fox who used him, but since the addition of Custom Kombat, a lot of top players have picked him up. So without any further ado, let's talk about why this diabolical character has become even more frustrating to fight against. So first up, let's talk about Jumping Jester. Now by default, not a very big deal, but once you amplify, this thing becomes an absolute nightmare. As you can see, it takes a long time to come down. And what that essentially means is Joker can now use it to end all of his combos, and you have to block it the second you get up. In fact, if timed correctly, this thing will hit you even if you do an invincible wake up. Look at that, it did not matter. And that's very frightening because look how long this thing stuns you for. Look at that. I had all day to see it hit, walk forward, and then still combo after it. In a nutshell, a good Joker player will launch you, and then end with Jumping Jester, and then just go for pressure. And that can be scary because Joker's overheads are no joke. They're very fast and catch a lot of players blocking incorrectly, including pro players. So with that in mind, your only real option is to roll, but keep in mind, Joker can move pretty quickly after he launches this thing, so he can still chase you down and force you to block. And then if you roll forward, that's an even worse decision because Joker's already standing right there, and once again, he's already recovered from Jumping Jester. So as you can see, this thing is a nightmare on your wake up. It makes you block everything. And you don't even need to launch the opponent. This thing is just as good on hit. So check this out. Cancel into it, they have to deal with this thing. How about right here? Cancel into it, they have to deal with this move. Because if they press any buttons at all, they won't just get hit by the Jester. Joker can actually follow up for a full combo. Because once again, its hit stun is that massive. In fact, if you space things correctly, you can even set this thing up on block. And while it does have a gap, the Joker player can just do the Jack in the Box instead, which does not have a gap, and if you press any buttons, you'll get hit. So it's a bit of a mind game when done on block, but trust me, it's still very effective. And then once Joker has you cornered, this thing only gets more powerful. Why? Because the amplified version launches you to extend combos. And that's really scary because normally Joker only has this way to launch you unless you want to use Kapow. But that move does take up 2 slots, so maybe instead you just want Jumping Jester because you still get to combo off of every touch in the corner. It doesn't matter if you land an overhead or if you land a low, either way you get your combo with this move. And then just to make this thing even more devious, look how good it is on hit. Check this out. You're at plus 33. That is nuts. And this is still true even after a very long combo. Check this out. I'm still gonna be like plus 20 or something crazy like that. Look at it, plus 25. This thing is a nightmare in the corner because essentially Joker launches you, gets his combo going, then ends with this move, and you're forced to deal with them all over again. And if you ask me, this move is actually scarier when it doesn't land because check out how much corner pressure this thing gives you. They just have to deal with you as you move in. So as long as you space things correctly, the opponent is always going to deal with you on block. If they press any buttons, they're gonna get hit by that Jester. And once again, the hit stun is massive, so much so the Joker can get hit and then still recover in time to combo you. So trust me, you do not want to push buttons once he launches this thing. And speaking of this Jack in the Box thing, it's also no joke. If spaced correctly, it makes all of Joker's strings not only safe, but look at all of this pushback. It basically resets the neutral. And this can work on a bunch of his strings. Even if he accidentally misses the first hit, this move can still save him. Not to mention, this move also breaks armor as well, and if you spin the bar, it'll actually relaunch the opponent. And since we're talking about Joker, that can lead to some crazy absurd damage. And then in the corner, you don't actually have to spend any meter, it launches the opponent for free. So of course that just means more meter for future combos. And then perhaps the most annoying thing about this move is when you amplify it, it just continues to chase the opponent down for the entire screen. And if you watch high level play, a lot of tournament players will do that. They'll get distance, and when the opponent's especially low on life, they'll just send this guy out and just try jumping over this thing. It's pretty much impossible, and it hits mid, you can't crouch under it either. And what that essentially means is the Joker can set this up and then just go for Batsy Pew Pew or something like that and just guarantee that you block all of it. Look at all of that chip damage. Or in fact, the Joker player can actually use this move to run in behind it and then close the gap if the opponent's trying to play keep away. It's just an all-around useful move, and it's not even a custom ability. You get this thing by default. But now it's back to the custom abilities. So next up, let's talk about Kapow. Now this move is beloved by pro players and casual players for the exact same reason. This move allows Joker to combo off of every single touch. So it doesn't matter what string he lands first, it will always cancel into Kapow for a full combo. And because Joker has a string that literally relaunches you, this can lead to some damaging combos. And then just to make this move even more annoying, a lot of characters can't even punish it. So right there, sure I'm minus 20, but what characters outside of Sub-Zero can even punish me for doing that? It's honestly just not a very easy move to punish, especially online when a lot of players don't know what to do when they're this far away. So against casual players especially, this move can be very good even on block. And don't forget, you can also amplify this move twice in the same combo if you want to. Is it worth it? Most of the time, no, but it is something you can do if you want some extra damage. However, like we mentioned earlier, Kapow does take up 2 slots, so some top players don't even use it. Instead, they want some really good mobility, and boeing is the move for that. This move essentially turns Joker into a Walmart version of Jackie. He can fly in and close the distance from pretty much anywhere on screen. And a lot of players think they'll just anti-air him, but keep in mind that this jumping kick is deceptively good. It's not as good as Baraka's, but it's a really good jumping kick. It's tough to anti-air. Even at a very high level, I saw tons of players getting beat by this move whenever they tried to anti-air. And then on top of that, it can also be good for wake-up pressure. You can just jump, fly at the opponent, and they have to deal with that jump in as they're getting up. If they press any buttons, they're gonna get hit. Essentially, all the opponent can really do is wake up roll or go for a wake up 3, but at that point they spent 2 bars just to get you off of them. Not really worth it. And the opponent knows that, so most of the time they're just gonna block instead. And then believe it or not, I've seen Joker players use this thing on hit. They'll go for an attack, when it lands, they'll cancel into boeing and do a jumping kick, and look at that, you're at +5, which means more pressure, baby. And this can even work on his long range hits. You jump in, land at the kick, you're at +5. Go for a string, or even better, go for a throw. Keep them guessing every single time. When I first saw this move, I didn't think it was going to be that good because it can't really extend combos, but even so, it's great for closing the gap even from full screen. It's great for wake up pressure after a knockdown, and then if you're crazy enough, it can even be a great pressure tool on hit because that jumping kick has a great hitbox and is also very plus on block. So whatever you do not sleep on this move. It is deceptively good. And then the final move we're going to talk about is Batsy Pew Pew. So what makes this move diabolical is the chip damage when you amplify. Spin the bar on this thing, they're forced to block every single hit after the first hit, and look at all that damage they took on block. The amount of damage this move does on block is what makes it so good towards the end of a round. Whenever your opponent's low on life and you have some distance, you can just pop this move and now they have to block and die, or they can try to jump over it, but that's much easier said than done because it keeps on firing, and if they land on it, the whole thing combos. And even at the casual level, this thing can be a good move because it does hit low, and as mentioned earlier, Joker has a lot of overheads. Right here, it's a high overhead, now it's a high low. Or how about this string? It ends in an overhead, right? Well, not anymore, now it ends in a low. And online, in a bad connection, or just against your average casual player, they're not going to be able to react to this thing. It's going to be a decent mix-up. And that's a pretty scary thought because once again, the amplified version just keeps going. Look at that, 18%. And all of that damage was guaranteed. You can't break away. We talk about Dragon Stance with Shiva, and that's a very strong move, but Batsy Pew Pew is very close to the same thing. It's all guaranteed damage once it lands. So even in situations like this, if you just want guaranteed damage, you go right into Batsy Pew Pew, look at that 24% damage. Or how about this string right here? It does even more damage. If you land it, hit confirm into Batsy Pew Pew, look at that 26%, once again, all guaranteed. Make no mistake, this move is powerful at both high level and a casual level of play. And then last but not least, let's not forget how scary Joker becomes once he has Fatal Blow. For one thing, the damage on his Fatal Blow is actually the highest damage a Fatal Blow can deal. Only a few characters in the game have a Fatal Blow that's this good in terms of damage. And as a result, even simple hit confirms like this can lead to a massive amount of damage. Oh my god, just look at that, 43% damage for a single string into Fatal Blow, and I didn't even do any of the skulls to increase the damage. That's how good it is by default. And then on block, this thing is arguably more scary because you can cancel into his throw and then you get a crushing blow, and it does 30% damage. And after that, you still have the Fatal Blow, you just gotta wait a couple seconds while it recovers, and then you land one hit into Fatal Blow, and the opponent's pretty much dead in most situations. Or in summary, having to block Joker when he has Fatal Blow is just impossible in most situations, especially online. And don't forget, he can also cancel this thing on hit and keep combos going that way as well. And as a result, he can get pretty good damage even if he doesn't want to spend any meter. If you ask me, Joker might have one of the most versatile Fatal Blows in the entire game. In fact, it might be one of the best Fatal Blows. Once you factor in its damage, its throw crushing blow, its cancel pressure on block, how it extends combos on hit, all that crazy stuff, it might be one of the best Fatal Blows in the whole game. Or in other words, Joker actually becomes stronger when he's closer to death. And after that, Joker still has some good tools like getting lit, that can be pretty fun for some damage over time in the corner or just keeping the opponent off of you from mid-screen, this character definitely does still have some good custom abilities, but the ones that I've shown you up until now are the main ones that I see top players using, and now you know why. So sadly, if you hated Joker before, he's only gotten stronger thanks to custom combat. But on the other hand, if you love playing Joker, well then rejoice because he's only stronger now. So thank you so much for watching everyone, and I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like down below, it really does help the channel out a ton. And then make sure to finish that combo by suplexing that subscribe button, that way you never miss a future video. Make sure to come back next time, and as always, stay underdogs.